So y'all, so much has been going on with this SWV and Xscape Queens of R&B show, and I don't even really want to talk about that just yet. I just want to get into the big forehead orange demon that is Latasha Scott and her bald head, small head, missing side tooth husband, Rocky Bivens, y'all. These two are some of the most obliviously ignorant to how the public perceives them as married couple I have ever seen. Because in no way should you have signed up to do a reality show when you was about to be on some hoe shit. It's just looking like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And it's evident y'all don't really know what the fuck y'all doing, because here we are 25 years later. Still no solo success from Latasha Scott, okay? You went solo after 1998. The shit failed. Then you wanted to be all about Xscape again. That fell through. You went back into obscurity. That should have been the time Latasha wanted to be in front of Taj talking about some, oh, I'm looking for my freedom, this, that, and the third. But it's like, bitch, you were free for, let's see, from like what, 2005 all up into 2017. So you were free for 12 years to express your creativity and pursue your solo career. You didn't. You fucking wallowed into obscurity, and then now that everything is popping with Xscape again, you want to do the same shit that you did in the 90s. You want to take advantage of all the press, all the successes y'all got to try to push this solo career that nobody is checking for. And here's the thing. Latasha Scott is an attractive woman. She is. Latasha Scott is a very talented woman. She is. And I do feel like she could have been successful. People say, oh yeah, her weight. Latasha Scott was smaller than Kelly Price. Okay, Latasha Scott to me is prettier than Kelly Price. So her weight and things like that didn't have anything to do with, I don't think it was going to hinder her solo career at all. I think what killed her solo career was the fact that it was just all bad timing. And that's honestly what she gets, because for those of y'all who don't know, Tasha was not going to do their third album unless the label agreed to give her a solo album. So after their third album came out, she promoted for a month and dipped to work on said solo album. She was signed to So Def. So I guess So Def did some shit to where her album didn't come out. And if y'all remember on Xscape Just Kicking It, she was trying to get the answers from Michael Malden, who was, I think, head of some division over at So Def. He was an intermediary between So Def and Columbia. He didn't have the answers for her ass. And he kind of was like, bitch, why you bring that shit up? That was how many years ago? Leave it alone. Because at the end of the day, that shit didn't work out. But if you are ambitious ass go-getter, you're going to go get your solo success. And you didn't. You fucking had your defeats in life. Stay defeated until you seen another opportunity to try to slither your way on into it and take it from people. But that happened, and the shit, it fucking blew up in her face, and now she wanted to be all about Xscape, and now she's doing the same thing. But what she does not understand is there is no demand for Latasha to be a solo singer. There just is not. Like, she didn't give, like, she had a couple bops here and there that was like kind of went under the radar. Like, I know she did Liar Liar for the Best Man soundtrack. She did that song. She did backing vocals for Trick Daddy on Thug Holiday, which is actually a good song. But it's like there was no demand for her to be a solo star because her shit fell through. And now her about to be 50 this year, there is no demand for a Latasha Scott solo album. And I think the reason why they're going the gospel route instead of the R&B route, because they think maybe she'll be well received in gospel now for her age than she would be in R&B. But it's like, why don't you ask Coco how well she was able to do in fucking gospel, Latasha? Then, not even now, then. Ask her how well that shit went. Because her ass on their show, SWV Reunited, she did that one song, was like, all right, that's it, I'm back to being all about SWV. I just don't fucking get it. And now, her ass, I guess she called one of the Candies, speak on it. And she didn't like the fact that Candy was saying what she said about, because here's the thing, Tasha and Rocky keep trying to push this narrative that Candy was just so jealous of Latasha singing, and Candy was like, girl, I sang on almost every song on Xscape except for a few. So what could I have been jealous about? And Tasha's like, well, I never said she was jealous, but she was. I never said I had a problem with her singing lead. She just had problems with me singing lead. That's not even. They left that part out of Speak On It. Candy said that she had a problem with when she was doing her solo album, in addition to doing Xscape's third album, they were already recording songs with just Tasha, doing all of her parts, and they would only bring Kandi in to do backgrounds because she has the distinctive voice out of Xscape to make it sound like an Xscape song, when really it was just a Latasha Scott song featuring Xscape, if y'all see what I'm saying. And if y'all look at the track listing for Traces on My Lipstick, Latasha did the interlude by herself and the intro and the outro. Softest Place on Earth, she does all the leads and the hook. Tiny and Kandi only do the pre-hook and the bridge, right? I'm assuming that song was already done. They just brought Tiny and Kandi in to fill in their parts. Then she did Your Eyes. That is all her with background vocals from Tamika. And then she had a song called Best of My Love that was only featured on the Japan release of Traces on My Lipstick, but that was just her. So, and then that don't even count all the songs that they may have recorded that didn't even make the album. So if you're in a group and you know that this bitch is going solo and now they're giving her all these songs just by herself and y'all ain't getting no leads, y'all are just coming in to back her up, yes, that will present a problem because one, that's never been Xscape. Xscape's format has always been Tasha and Kandi for the most part. Then you get a couple songs with Tasha and Tamika, a couple songs with Tasha and Tiny. Maybe you get a song with all four of them, but it's never just been Tasha and we're gonna bring the rest in to do the background vocals. And then furthermore, Kandi said that there was sometimes for them sessions they never even called Tiny and Tamika in. They were only using Kandi to make it sound like an Xscape song. So that's what Kandi's problem was all those years. It wasn't the fact that Tasha was singing lead, because Tasha always had the biggest, best parts. But her problem was now y'all are trying to do something differently amid her solo album. But that doesn't fit Tasha and Rocky's narrative. The narrative that they're pushing is that Kandi was jealous because she was singing lead all the time. So they don't care about none of that shit. And then Tasha, you want to sit up there and say in your little video that Tamika's a liar. Bitch, you're a liar too. You are a big fat liar. You are the liar that you were singing about on the Best Man soundtrack, because you still won't even admit to this day that you set it up to where you only do the third album unless you got your solo album. And then not only that, you tried to lie and say that didn't happen, to the point where Tiny had to come out and say, actually, that did happen. Tamika was going to take up for you, of course, because she was dumb, just blindly following your ass. And now she's seeing what all that blind loyalty got her when you and Rocky stole all her damn money. And I'll get to that. But it's the point of Tasha will not admit the shit that she's done. She's talking about we don't hold each other accountable. You don't hold yourself accountable for none of your shit. There's always a reasoning for what you had to do, and you make yourself out to be the victim. Oh, Kandi kept crying about me singing, so I just had to get this. You didn't have to do shit. If you are in the group, you could at least advocate for Tamika to sing more, with that being your sister. But you didn't give a fuck about her then, and you don't give a fuck about her now because you're weak. But I want to get to this shit with her and Tamika, right? So there was this thing that Kandi explained. She said that there was this company that was sending out royalty checks called Sound Exchange. It formed in, I think, 2000 or the early 2000s, and it was giving back royalties to everybody who came out before Sound Exchange even came out. So Tiny's mom signed Xscape up for it, and Tiny had Kandi's check sent to Mama Joyce. So I'm assuming, Kandi didn't say, but I'm assuming that because I'm thinking if she had Kandi's check sent to Mama Joyce, then she probably had Tasha and Tamika's check sent to Mama Gloria. Now, evidently Tasha must have gotten her money. So, and Tamika didn't. So, how do y'all think that went? Mama G went and told Tasha, she was like, yeah, they got this money for here, yo. You should come over here and get it. And they fucking took Tamika's money. That scenario makes perfect sense to me. And I feel like Tiny's mom didn't think that Mama G would have never did no hoe shit like that. But she got two hoe shit ass daughters. So the apple can't fall too far from the fucking tree. But you know, she's innocent. She didn't think that would ever happen. But yeah, it happened. And you could the money went to all the wrong places because Mama G, that wig is terrible. Like, it's split all the way in the middle. All I'm looking at is forehead and roots. It's terrible. I don't know why It's like when the girls used to get they brandy silk yakety yak yaks in, you would just see the big ass part, the track, and then it'd be like hella glue, and then it would just be scalp in between. I'm like, that fucking looks terrible. Ugh. But that's how I feel Tasha stole her money, because evidently, like I said, Tasha got her money. Tamika didn't get hers. And if Tiny had the checks sent to the moms, who do you think came and got the check from Mama G? Evidently, it wasn't Tamika. So, but we know, like, it's clear that she stole that money. It's clear that Rocky stole that money. Like she said, the shit was cashed into Rocky's account. But the reason why she really didn't find out how it happened is because she would have to pursue charges, and she does not want to lock her husband up. But look, if you're gonna be playing in my face on national television talking about you ain't steal my shit and you don't know what the fuck is going on, your ass is going to jail. You and your husband going to jail, because that bitch ain't been about shit the whole time that he been in the group. Because one thing about managers who are married to the wives, they advocate so hard for the wives because usually their wife is their sole source of income. If you look at Mary J. Blige's husband, Ken Do, who else was he managing outside of Mary J. Blige? If you look at Monique's husband, who else is he managing outside of Monique? And if you look at Rocky, who else is he's managing outside of Latasha? And then you ain't even doing a good job managing her, because her ass ain't worked in 12 years prior to Xscape getting back together in 2017. So it kills me, like, when they try to be these managers but ain't managing nobody and don't have a management firm. Like, it's just, and the thing is, I don't even want to dislike Latasha. Like I said, she's very talented. I feel like a lot of people talk about her runs and shit, but I feel like Tasha is just a very emotive singer. So when she running all over the place, I don't ever mind it, because it all sounds good to me. And I feel like some songs, maybe Tamika could have sang on it, would have sounded good, but I feel like there's some songs where I wanted her voice, and I was happy with her voice being on that song. But this bitch and all her underhanded tactics and sneaking behind their back, not being honest, being full of shit, excuse me, it's just so fucking frustrating. Now, like I said, she about to be 50 years old, and she lying, she being deceitful and deceptive, but she want to throw Tamika being on the bus for lying to protect her, because she didn't want people to know. First of all, it wasn't really publicly known that Xscape broke up because she went solo, because she won't say that Xscape broke up because she went solo, but the group ended. They were going to have to be on indefinite hiatus until you came back. And I don't think she came back until like 2000, 2001. So that's 3 years and I'm not making no money. So yes, because you left, Xscape didn't continue on. I don't know why they didn't try to do a deal without her. That's a question I would like to ask. Like, why didn't y'all just try to do a deal? Because we see what Xscape is doing now. Tasha was feeling like, and her husband, Xscape did an interview where she was talking, where her husband was talking about, you can't do shit without Tasha because she the Beyonce of the group. Now Tamika's the Beyonce of the group, because Tamika is doing all her parts effortlessly. And it's just like, dude, this is the Tamika we should have gotten when Xscape was actually out. Like, I feel like Xscape should have been more like in vogue, and not just the predecessor to Destiny's Child with, well, Destiny's Child took it a step further with letting Beyonce do everything, but they were the predecessor to Destiny's Child in the fact that Latasha she did most of the big parts. Like, you remember her voice more than you remember everybody else for like the real singer. Like, if I'm going based off my memory alone, I feel like there's only a couple songs, and it's normally the songs that Tasha ain't on. If Tasha ain't on the songs, if she's on the song, she's killing it. Nobody else is going to get those opportunities. It's never going to be a time where Xscape records a song, all of them together, and Tasha shuts up and let the other member do the best parts. That's never happening. But I feel like if we want to talk about times where Tamika shined on her own, y'all should go listen to All I Need. That's her and Tiny on the third album. Hold On is a good song too, that where she wasn't on it at all, obviously, but Tiny shined on that song. Love's a Funny Thing, Tiny shined on that song too. Tasha got the last part, but she didn't get the best part. Tiny got the best parts on that song. So it's a couple songs, but other than that, she did the most. But as we see, Tamika definitely could have held half of that work too. Like, if Tasha was the real big sister, like, big sister's supposed to be protective over the little sisters, not the other way around. I always thought that was odd. Tamika on there unsung saying, oh yeah, I got in fights so many times, people was talking about her. That's not how that go. Like, the little sister supposed to be coming to get the big sister to beat up the people talking about the little sister. It ain't supposed to be the other way around. Because I'm like, who are you fighting? Y'all know you wasn't fighting people your sister's age. Like, that sounds ridiculous, but it could have been because they ridiculous. But now we see Tamika definitely could have been the member with the second best parts. Like, she could have had parts on Do You Want To. She could have had parts on My Little Secret. She could have had a bigger part on The Arms of the Ones You Love. She could have been on Softest Place of Earth. She could have been on all those songs. But now, to be honest, I'm happy Tasha's out because Candy and Tamika have always been my favorite members of the group. And we never got a song of theirs with just the two of them. We gotten songs with just Candy and Tasha, gotten songs with just Candy and Tiny, and we've got songs with just Tiny and Tasha, a song with Tamika and Tiny, but we never just got the two of them. So with Tamika there, she killing it. Honestly, I'm not looking for Latasha to come back, and I feel like if she does come back, I still want Tamika to sing as much as she's singing. Now I want it to be half and half. Put Tamika on Do You Want To. Let her get some of that. Let her get some of My Little Secret. Let her get some of Can't Hang. Let her get some of... I think that'll be it. That'll be it. But shit, let her get some of that. Let her get some of Just Kicking It. I'm fine with that. Cool. But like I said, y'all, this show is not... It's a really good show. I love SWV. I love Xscape. Those are two of my favorite groups. TLC is my #1 group. But it's just... It's terrible. It's really terrible. And at this point, especially with that little video that Latasha did yesterday where she was making fun of Candy, singing, saying, calling her sister a liar. And then she did an interview today where she was talking about recording The Softest Place on Earth. She was saying, like, yeah, I wasn't going to sing on it because I got tired of them talking about me singing. So Candy went in the studio with John for like 4 hours and he was saying it was too hard. Then he went up in there with Tiny and it was too nasally. And then he asked Rocky why I wasn't singing and they were complaining. He was like, well, I've been in the studio with SWV and Coco does all the singing, but they all get paid. So what's the problem? He said they all get paid the same. I'm like, well, first of all, that's a lie. If y'all looked at SWV's Unsung, they all said that Coco got paid more because she was doing most of the singing. And I'm just like, Taj and Lily was stupid for even signing that contract. So I'm like, oh, well, shit, put me in the studio then. Let's make it work. Ain't no way you're going to be getting paid more than me when we're not doing the same work in the studio, but we doing the same work in the videos. We doing the same amount of work on the tours. We doing the same amount of work when we do these interviews and these photo shoots. We doing the same amount of work then. We all showing up for this hour to that hour. So in the studio, like, nah, fuck that. It's okay then. Put me in the studio. Let me get some of You're the One. Let me get some Can We. Let me get some of that. Ain't no need you be getting paid more than me. Nah. But she doing shit like that. She talking all this shit. And I'm just like, dude. First of all, I just can't wait for Candy to speak on it again. Because I want to know what the fuck she got to say about this bullshit Latasha saying. Because I don't believe nothing she's saying. I don't believe a goddamn thing. Because like I said, that bitch is a liar. Just how Tamika's a fucking liar. And it kills me. She want to throw Tamika on the bus from lying to protect her. And then watching the episode where her mama was clearly showing favoritism. When Tamika got up and she mouthed to Tasha that Tamika was jealous of what? Neither one of them bitches got shit going on. Like, they didn't have nothing going on before Xscape got back together. So what would she be jealous of? And then Tamika feeling like she always take her side. And I'm like, yeah, I see this dynamic. Tasha is weak, okay? Tasha is weak as fuck, and her mama identifies that. Mothers know their children, okay? She knows that her oldest daughter is the weakest daughter because Tasha still got a chip on her shoulder about being the big girl. Like, you can tell that shit still bothers her, and it's like, Tasha, at the end of the day, you were the big girl. You weren't fat, you weren't obese, but you were bigger than the rest of the members of Xscape. And Xscape wasn't so big to where everybody knew their name, like TLC. We knew T-Boz, Left Eye, and Chili because their names were the group, like the group's name. But nobody knew Xscape just off the basis of their names. Even when like In Vogue, nobody knew the names of Cindy, Terry, Dawn, and Max. Nobody, because they just weren't that big. I mean, people probably knew the Spice Girls, but that was their thing. That was their gimmick, the Spice Girls and what Spice it was. Destiny Child. I'm pretty sure people didn't even really know LaToya and Latavia's name like that until they got kicked out the group. So in Xscape, people are going to identify you by your most distinguishing factor. And if they don't know your name. And with that being said, you were the big girl. Tiny was the little light-skinned girl. Candy was the one with the bob. And Tamika was the one Tamika used to have like them little pixie cuts. What the fuck with it? With the bangs, whatever. But if you go into a show for the first time, you don't know the names, but you're talking about them with somebody, you're gonna pick out the distinguishing features so the person knows who the fuck you talking about. So that's why nobody was addressing you by Latasha Scott, because nobody knew your damn name. The only people who knows the names of the groups are like the big fans, the ones who read the actual books that came with the CDs. That's it. I'm pretty sure people didn't know Taj and Lily by name, but they knew Coco because she was the lead singer. So she still got her chip on her shoulder about that. She got her chip on the shoulder about, you could tell just by being dark skinned. Look at what the fuck she doing to her skin to match that blonde weave that she just won't put the fuck away. Tasha, you're dark skinned. You're dark chocolate. Tamika accept her dark chocolate. Why ain't you? You ain't light skinned, and you are the big girl. You're still you ain't really the big girl now. Tamika the big girl, but still, you're still bigger than well, they all about damn near the same size now, but you can tell that shit still bothers her to this day. About those are her insecurities, and you can tell her mom knew that and was like, yeah, I got to give her some extra love and some extra reinforcement, some extra encouragement, whereas got to try to boost her confidence up, because she knows Tamika already got that. Tamika doesn't exude self-consciousness and insecurity the way that her sister does. And that's why her mom is so hard on her with not taking her sister's side, because she knows that she weak, but obviously she can't say it. So when you talk about favoritism, sometimes that's why. I'm not buying. I mean, that could be what Tamika's feeling, that she feels like she looks like her dad, and that's why her mom is like that with her. But I'm like, nah, she know who her weak daughter is, and she know who her strong daughter is. Just like a motherfucking soul food. When Big Mama said Maxine was the strong one and Terry was the weak one, even though Terry was the oldest. It's just how it is sometimes. That's why I think the issue stems from. But throwing her under the bus, calling her a liar to protect your whole ass is just weak as fuck. It's really weak as fuck. I had another point I wanted to make about this show, but like I said, I'm not looking for Latasha coming back. And as much shit as she's talking, I don't even think they're gonna want her to come back. And she talking about some Xscape 3 made more money without Candy. Like, bitch, no the fuck y'all did not. Nobody was checking for Xscape 3's music. Y'all ain't had one hit from that EP. Okay, it is what it is. Y'all had some good music. The EP was good. I'll download it. I ain't buy it, but I downloaded it. It was good. I would say 3, maybe 4 out of 5 songs on that EP were good. And I wondered what Candy would have been like on the EP, but whatever. I don't see them, because even then they weren't even getting booked as much as they're getting booked now without her big ass. So I'm just, it ain't making sense, lady, but it's never gonna make sense coming from the camp of Rocky Bivens and Latasha Scott Bivens, y'all. I think that's all I got. If I got some more, I'll give it to y'all next week. I know I'm a little late doing these reviews, and I need to review the show. The show is good, but Latasha Scott been bothering the fuck out of me, so she kind of just took over this whole video. And like I said, I never really disliked her, but it just, everything that Candy was saying is making sense. And like she said, all of this shit is a repeat of history. But the show has been good. I think we got 2 episodes left. I think, because, yeah, that was 4 episodes. So we got 5 and 6 left, and then I'll start to talk more about the show. But them Scott Bivenses, they wore me out. So this one's what I will see y'all in the next one.